Who the hell are these people in my pool? That's literally how my Saturday started, no warning, no context. Just three random women floating around in my backyard like it was a resort. Sun barely up. Coffee half brewed, I step outside in my robe and stop cold. Music thumping, drinks clinking, laughing echoes off my fence, and right there, center stage was Karen wide-brimmed hat, shades, and the kind of confidence that screams entitled since birth. She glanced over her glasses, smiled like a movie villain. "Morning, sweetheart. Is this the community pool?" I blinked. "Community pool? Lady, this is my backyard." She giggled, that high-pitched fake sweet laugh that makes your blood pressure climb. "Oh, honey, that's not what the bylaws say. Guess you didn't read the fine print." Her friends laughed like they were in on a private joke. I tried to stay calm, but my voice cracked with anger. "You've got 5 seconds to grab your floaties and go before I call the cops." Karen stood up, dripping chlorine and attitude. "Relax," she said, stepping closer. "Why don't you call the HOA president?" "Tell him Karen said hi." That smirk told me everything. She wasn't scared, she was connected, and right then, I realized I was standing in the middle of a fight I hadn't signed up for. If you've ever dealt with a neighborhood Karen, you already know how wild this can get. Stick around and hey, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, because trust me, this story's about to get real. Next morning, my gate was locked tight, or so I thought. The next morning, I checked the gate twice. Deadbolt, padlock, latch, all solid. I even muttered, "Let's see you try now, Karen." But when I got home from work that afternoon, sunlight caught a shimmer across the deck. Wet footprints, fresh ones. I pulled up the camera feed and there she was again. Same hat, same smug floaty, same drink. Karen, floating like she was queen of the HOA right there in my pool. That was it. I drove straight to the HOA office, adrenaline pumping. Paul, the HOA president, looked up from his laptop like I'd interrupted his nap. Perfect hair, fake tan, that salesman's smile. "Afternoon, neighbor. What can I do for you?" I dropped my phone on his desk. The video looped. Karen waving at the camera. "She's trespassing. Twice. I want her banned or fined." Paul chuckled, the kind of laugh that makes you want to break something. "Oh, Karen, she's passionate. Probably just confused. You know how close-knit we are here. Confused? She's swimming in my backyard." He sighed, leaned back. "Look, she's been on the board for 15 years. Maybe give her some grace, yeah? No need to start on the wrong foot. Pick your battles." That phrase, "pick your battles," stuck in my head the entire drive home. Because apparently, owning property in this neighborhood didn't mean owning peace. When I reached my gate, I checked the latch out of habit, and that's when I saw it. The metal wasn't broken. It had been filed down smooth precision work. She hadn't broken in. She'd engineered her way in. And that's when I realized Karen wasn't trespassing by accident. She was testing how far she could go. That night, I barely slept. Every creak outside sounded like a gate latch. Every motion light flash made my pulse jump. By morning, I'd had enough. I ordered 4 motion cameras, a stronger padlock, and a private property no trespassing sign that could be read from space. But deep down, I already knew Karen wasn't done. People like her never stop when you say no. They just find new ways to ignore it. 2 days later, my phone buzzed at lunch motion detected backyard. I opened the feed and nearly dropped my sandwich. There she was again. Karen, lounging in my pool chair, shades on, drink in hand, scrolling her phone like she was clocked in for leisure duty. This time she wasn't alone. 2 friends were with her, matching towels, snacks, even a pink inflatable flamingo. They laughed, splashed, and toasted toward the camera. She knew I was watching. It wasn't trespassing anymore, it was mockery. By the time I got home, they were gone. But the water still shimmered with their footprints, and a half-empty bottle of wine sat on my deck like a calling card. That night, I watched the footage again, slow motion, frame by frame. She didn't force anything. The gate opened smoothly like it was hers. That realization hit hard. Somewhere, somehow, she had a key. The next day, I confronted the HOA office again, video evidence in hand. Paul wasn't there. His assistant was, sweet girl, nervous smile. "Oh, Karen's using the pool again?" she said softly, glancing at the footage. "She mentioned community access. Didn't you two, settle that?" I stared at her. "Settle it? She's trespassing." The assistant looked down, voice small. "She's on the board. There's not much we can do." I walked out, fists tight, heart pounding. The HOA wasn't blind, they were protecting her. That's when I realized if the system was rigged, I'd need to build my own plan one Karen would never see coming. By the time I went back to the HOA office, I wasn't angry anymore. I was done being polite. Paul sat behind his desk, sipping his overpriced coffee like he ran the White House. "Back again, Tom?" he said, forcing that politician's smile. "Let me guess, Karen?" I dropped the flash drive on his desk. Security footage. 3 times. Her friends, my pool. He didn't even plug it in. Just sighed like I was an inconvenience. "Tom, look, the HOA isn't law enforcement. We keep things civil, neighborly. You can't just accuse board members without process." "Process?" I said, barely holding it in. "I've got proof." "You have rules. Do they apply to her or not?" Paul's tone hardened. "You're new here?" "Karen's done a lot for this community. Maybe show some respect. That word stung. Not because I didn't understand it, but because they'd weaponized it. I leaned in, meeting his eyes. "Respect isn't trespassing, Paul. Respect boundaries. Something your star member doesn't seem to get." He sighed again, acting like I was the problem. "Look, Tom, you don't want to make enemies here. Everyone loves Karen. Maybe find a way to get along, huh?" That's when I finally saw it. Not fear, not fairness, but protection. Karen had the HOA wrapped around her manicured finger. I walked out without another word. And for the first time, I realized I wasn't just fighting her. I was fighting them. As I reached my car, I muttered under my breath, "All right, Karen. You want to play games? I'll play back. Have you ever dealt with people who think rules don't apply to them? If you have, drop a comment. I want to know I'm not the only one losing my mind here." Because by the weekend, she wasn't just using my pool. She'd hired someone to maintain it. By the weekend, I thought I'd seen it all, until a white pickup truck rolled up to my house. Guy hops out, toolbox in hand, clipboard under his arm. "Morning," he says. "I'm here to service the pool." I blinked. "Excuse me?" He gestures at the gate. Karen scheduled a full clean and chemical check. Said the HOA approved it. I swear, for a second my brain just short-circuited. Karen had officially moved from trespassing to managing my property. I forced a smile. "Buddy, listen. If you touch that gate, you'll be cleaning a crime scene, not a pool." He froze, looked confused, then backed off. "I'll, confirm with the HOA." "Yeah, good luck with that." Later that day, I checked the neighborhood Facebook group, and there it was. A photo, my pool, captioned, "HOA pool upgrade, Karen making changes happen." Hundreds of likes. People commenting, "Thanks, Karen." And finally someone keeping things nice. My blood boiled. I wasn't just being invaded. I was being rewritten. That night, I sat by the window, staring at that still, perfect blue water. For weeks, I'd played defense. Locked gates, complaints, proof. None of it mattered, because the HOA wasn't listening. They were protecting her, and that's when it clicked. I didn't need them to listen. I just needed them to watch. I grabbed my notebook and started sketching something creative. If she wanted to keep coming back, fine. I'd give her a show she'd never forget. You know that feeling when you finally had enough and your brain goes, "Okay, time to get clever"? Yeah, that's exactly where I was. And hey, if you're still with me, hit that like button so I know you're ready for what comes next. Because my plan, it didn't just stop her. It made the whole neighborhood see her for who she really was. I wasn't about to get physical or call lawyers. That's exactly what Karen wanted. She thrived on drama. So instead of losing my temper, I decided to get creative. That night, I called my old college buddy Mason. Guy's a chemistry professor now, smart. Calm, the total opposite of me. Mace, I said. Hypothetically, if someone kept swimming in your pool without permission, and you wanted to make a point without getting arrested, what would you do? He laughed. You're talking about Karen again, huh? Yeah, I said. And she just turned my backyard into Club HOA. Mason chuckled. All right, let's make this fun. He started brainstorming ideas that sounded like something out of a science fair from hell. Nothing harmful, just smart. Then he paused. What about a harmless pool dye? I frowned. Like food coloring? Better. There's a color-reactive compound, safe. Temporary, it clings to certain oils. Like sunscreen. I leaned forward. You're kidding. Nope, he said, grinning. It won't hurt anyone. But if someone covered in sunscreen jumps in, the water changes color around them. Bright, obvious, instant. I swear, I could feel my sanity returning. It was poetic, clean, legal, and exactly the kind of thing Karen would never see coming. We tested it in a bucket first, no smell, no stains, just a perfect gotcha moment waiting to happen. I even wrote everything down, dates, times, proof. Because if she tried to flip it back on me, I'd have evidence for days. As I watched the test water glow under the porch light, I felt something I hadn't in weeks control. Ever had that one genius idea that makes you laugh out loud like, oh yeah, this is gonna be good? Yeah, that was me right there. And hey, if this plan sounds as wild to you as it did to me, drop a comment and tell me what you'd have done instead. Now all I needed was for Karen to show up, and trust me, she didn't make me wait long. By Saturday morning, the stage was set. I'd cleaned the pool till it gleamed like glass, replaced every bulb in the backyard lights, and double-checked all 4 security cameras. Every angle covered. Every detail is ready. Mason had mailed me the little bag of harmless dye clear as water until it hit sunscreen. He even wrote on the label, for educational purposes only. Yeah, education was exactly what I had in mind. I poured the mixture into the pool late that night, slow and steady, whispering like I was defusing a bomb. The water stayed crystal clear. Perfect. Sunday morning, I made sure to keep things casual. Coffee mug in hand, patio chair angled just right, camera rolling silently in the background, and right on cue, Karen, gate swings open like she owns it. Same hat, same smug walk. 2 of her friends were railing behind with their neon towels. They laughed, kicked off their sandals, and strutted straight to the pool. Karen, I called out, all friendly fake. Didn't know we had an HOA meeting today. She waved, sunglasses glinting. Oh, we're just inspecting the property? Making sure everything's up to code. Uh-huh, I said, sipping my coffee. Hope you brought sunscreen, she smirked. Always do and then splash. She dove straight in, her friends following like synchronized swimmers. I watched the surface ripple, calm at first. Then, slowly, the water began to change. A soft green hue spread out from where she swam. Her arms, her shoulders glowing like a neon sign. Her friends froze. Karen stood up, staring at her reflection, jaw dropping. What's happening? I stayed quiet, pretending to check my phone. Inside, I was screaming with satisfaction. Have you ever watched karma show up in real time? It's beautiful. And hey, if you'd pay to see that moment again, hit that share button, 'cause it's about to get even crazier. Because I thought I'd just embarrassed her. But Karen wasn't done, she went public. Karen's scream echoed across the yard. Loud, sharp, the kind that makes every bird within a mile go silent. What did you do to my pool? She yelled, flailing in the green water. Her friends scrambled out, dripping, covered in streaks of glowing color. I stayed calm, maybe a little too calm. It's weird, I said, keeping my tone flat. Looks like something reacted to your sunscreen. You sure you're not allergic to boundaries? Her jaw dropped. You think this is funny? I shrugged. I mean, a little. Her friends bolted toward the gate, whispering about chemical burns and lawsuits. Karen grabbed her phone, dripping water all over the deck, and hit go live. This man poisoned my pool, she shouted into her camera. I'm live streaming this. Joe A. property, chemical attack. I just stood there watching the chaos unfold. Within minutes, the comments were flying. Someone wrote, Girl, that's his pool. Another, Karen, read the sign, it literally says private. Thousands joined. It went viral faster than I could finish my coffee. Her own live stream turned into her downfall. Viewers pulled up her address, linked HOA records, and even found my older footage of her trespassing. Screenshots, stitches, memes everywhere. By evening, the local Facebook page was on fire. Half the town was roasting her, the other half pretending they'd never met her. And me, I didn't say a word, didn't post, didn't gloat. Just sat on my porch, watching the same pool that started it all, glowing faintly in the dark like poetic justice. Have you ever seen someone dig their own grave with Wi-Fi? Yeah, that's Karen for you. And if this part made you smile, tap that like button. We're just getting to the real twist. Because the next day, Karen didn't just lose her temper, she triggered an investigation that blew the whole HOA apart. By the next morning, my phone was blowing up. Texts, missed calls, even my boss sent a meme, Karen versus the pool of justice. Her live stream had hit 2.3 million views overnight. And guess what? Every comment was roasting her. People clipped the part where she screamed, "This is HOA property," then spliced it next to my private pool sign. Instant internet gold. Even the local news ran it. "Neighborhood dispute goes viral," the anchor said, smiling like she couldn't hold in the laugh. Karen, though, she wasn't laughing. She doubled down. Started claiming I spiked the water with chemicals, filed a complaint, called the cops. When the officer showed up, I was ready. Body cam rolling, I handed him my binder, timestamps, footage, even the lab report Mason helped me print. "Harmless compound, non-toxic, all documented," I said. The officer scrolled through my videos, trying not to grin. "Sir, you got yourself covered pretty well." Karen stood there, arms crossed, green stains still faint on her arms. "This man humiliated me publicly," she shouted. The officer sighed. "Ma'am, you live-streamed it yourself." Silence. That moment right there, priceless. Within a week, the HOA inbox exploded with messages from angry residents. Turns out Karen had been signing off on community expenses, but no one had ever seen receipts. A rumor started, maybe that HOA improvement fund was just her personal piggy bank. People wanted answers, and this time they weren't protecting her. The same people who once called her our beloved board member were now whispering, "She's been stealing from us." Have you ever seen a bully start to sweat when the crowd flips sides? It's beautiful. And hey, if you're still riding with me through this chaos, share this story with someone who's ever dealt with a Karen. They'll get it. Because when the HOA finally opened the books, what they found made Greenwater look innocent. When people get embarrassed online, they usually hide for a few days. Karen? She went full political scandal mode. Emails, announcements, damage control, she tried everything. But the neighborhood had already turned. Residents demanded a board meeting, and this time, it wasn't just a formality. They wanted answers. By Thursday, the HOA inbox looked like a courtroom. Someone leaked screenshots of Karen's private projects invoices with no addresses, checks written to companies that didn't exist. The board couldn't ignore it anymore. So they called an emergency audit, and I showed up early. Sat right there in the front row, arms crossed, coffee in hand, ready to watch karma clock in for work. Paul, the HOA president, looked like he hadn't slept in days. Karen walked in wearing her trademark red blazer, chin high, pretending everything was normal. The accountant stood up. "After reviewing the books, we've identified irregularities totaling nearly $40,000 in unapproved expenditures." You could feel the room shift. People whispered. Someone gasped. Karen's smirk faded for the first time in months. Paul's voice cracked. "Karen, did you authorize these payments?" She started her usual dance, blaming others, claiming confusion, twisting words, but the paper trail was ironclad. Every fake invoice, every signed check, her name, her signature. By the end of the meeting, Paul resigned for health reasons. Karen stormed out, her heels echoing like gunshots on the tile floor, and the HOA voted, right then and there, to suspend her indefinitely pending investigation. Have you ever seen the person who made your life miserable suddenly lose control? It's like the world exhales with you. And hey, if you're feeling that same sweet satisfaction, drop a like, because this justice train's not stopping yet. Because when the dust settled, I found out something that made the whole mess even wilder. Karen's downfall had just started. The audit blew through the neighborhood like wildfire. Every mailbox conversation, every dog-walking chat, it was all about Karen. The woman who used to bark orders at everyone was suddenly the talk of the town, and not in the way she liked. Screenshots, videos, memes, her reputation was tanking faster than a leaky pool float. For the first time in months, people waved at me when I passed by. Old neighbors who used to avoid eye contact now stopped to talk. "Hey, man," one said. "Saw the footage. You handled that better than most would've." Another neighbor grinned. "That green water?" Classic. Even the mailman cracked a smile. "Guess she won't be hosting pool parties anytime soon." I'll admit, it felt good. But there was still cleanup to do. Karen's official suspension came in writing that Friday. HOA letterhead, cold and final. The next day, movers showed up at her house. Half her stuff went into storage, half into trash bags. Rumor was she'd been caught misusing HOA funds for personal landscaping, board dinners, and, get this, community wellness retreats that no one ever attended. The new board president, a quiet guy named Mark, came by to apologize in person. "Tom, I'm sorry it got that far." "You didn't deserve that," I nodded. "Just glad it's over," he smiled. "Not over yet. We're naming you as the new resident advisor." "People trust you now," I laughed. "Oh, no. I've had my fill of HOA drama for one lifetime. Have you ever noticed how peace feels louder when the noise finally stops? That was me, standing by my pool, water calm, no more trespassers, no more games. And hey, if you've ever watched karma come full circle like this, drop a comment, 'cause I swear it hits different when you've lived it. But even with Karen gone, the story wasn't over. Because peace has a funny way of testing you right when you think you've earned it. For the first time in months, the neighborhood felt quiet. No letters taped to my door, no HOA inspections, no random strangers in my pool. Just sunlight, birds, and the sound of clean water rippling under the breeze. Karen's house sat dark most nights. Rumor was she'd moved in with her sister across town. "Temporary stay," she called it. Yeah, sure. I didn't celebrate loudly. Didn't throw a party. Just brewed some coffee, pulled up a chair by the pool, and took a deep breath that finally felt mine again. Funny thing, when peace comes back, it doesn't show up with fireworks. It just sits next to you quietly and says, "You made it." Mark, the new HOA president, stopped by later that week. He handed me a clean copy of the HOA rules. Updated, corrected, no more Karen edits. "No one touches your pool again," he said, smiling. "Promise." I shook his hand. "Appreciate it. And hey, let's keep it neighborly this time, huh?" He laughed. "Deal." The next morning, I opened the gate, dipped my hand in the water, clear, perfectly mine. For once, it didn't feel like a battlefield. It felt like home again. I thought about everything. The cameras, the lies, the laughter, the die. It wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about boundaries, about learning when to stop explaining yourself and just let people face the consequences they've earned. Have you ever gone through hell and come out realizing it wasn't about winning? It was about finally being free? Yeah, that's the kind of peace I'd wish on anyone. And if you've ever had your own Karen moment and made it through, share this video. Somebody out there probably needs to hear it today. But before I wrapped it all up, I had one last thought, the kind that stays with you long after the noise fades. It's funny. When this all started, I just wanted my mornings back. I didn't want drama or revenge or some viral headline. I just wanted to sit by my pool in peace. No HOA politics, no power games, no uninvited guests. But life doesn't hand you peace. Sometimes it makes you build it, piece by piece, argument by argument, until you earn it. Looking back, Karen wasn't just a neighbor. She was a reminder that boundaries mean nothing if you don't stand by them. That silence sometimes is mistaken for weakness. And you know what? I'm glad she pushed me. Because if she hadn't, I might have never learned just how far I'm willing to go to protect what's mine. Not just a pool, but peace of mind. These days, the water's calm again. Sometimes I catch my reflection in it and it hits me. That quiet surface used to hide a storm. Now it's just stillness beat. So if you're watching this right now, wondering if standing your ground is worth it, it is. You don't need to yell. You don't need to fight dirty. Just stay patient. Stay consistent. Truth eventually does the shouting for you. I learned that the hard way, but man, it's a lesson I'll never forget. And hey, if this story hit close to home, if you've ever had to deal with a Karen, a bully, or anyone who thought they could walk over you, subscribe for more stories like this one. Because sometimes the best revenge is peace.